What is up, guys, and welcome to my pick'ems for the challenger stage of the PGL Major 2022 in Antwerp. So I'm gonna place my pick'ems just like last major. I'll make a video, I think, for every stage of the tournament. So challenger, then legends, champions. I'll also use this as kind of a guideline for my HLTV and Ego app videos on the fantasies. And basically, if you want to hear my reasoning behind who I think is going to do well and who do I think is going to do poorly, you can kind of come back to this video and see what I had to say about each team. On top of that, I'll probably go a bit through my previous fantasies because a lot of people have been asking for something like that. So I'll go over which picks I made in past fantasies and how they kind of panned out, and also basically talk about which the best lineups ended up being. So without further ado, let's actually check here on HLTV which teams we have, and also I have this matchup calculator here so we can kind of look at who's gonna play who and how likely that is. And there's also the seeding here, which is very important. So like ENS is the highest seeded team out of the challenger stage teams. Then it's like G2, Force, Astralis, Vitality, so on and so forth. So of course, if you want to hear like my thoughts on which are like the strongest teams, obviously the high seeded guys like ENS and G2. Also, I think Astralis, Vitality. I'd say Outsiders is a bit better than their seeding. There's Liquid as well. I'm not so sure about Force yet. They didn't have like the most convincing route to the major. And then there's some other teams who are kind of interesting to me. But okay, let's just go. Like, I think ENS is gonna win. I think G2 are gonna win. I still think Force is gonna beat Renegades. Astralis should beat IHC as well as Vitality Complexity. Here I think Outsiders are stronger than MIBR. Spirit Imperial is very close, as well as BNE Eternal Fire. I think those are the two ones where it's the hardest to say for me. I think BNE is maybe a bit better than Eternal Fire, but it's very, very close. And then Spirit Imperial. I actually think Imperial is probably favorite in that one, very slightly as well. Either way, when we go to the next round, like Force is gonna have a pretty easy 2-0 game. As well as G2. This is a bit harder for ENS. Vitality Astralis is happening a lot of the cases, as long as they both win, because of their seeds. I think it's like almost guaranteed. If we do like this, so I think this wins, this wins. I think Astralis beats Vitality, although it's gonna be close. Nenzi and MIB are pretty close, but I think MIB probably wins. This is also pretty close. I think Liquid's the favorite. Spirit probably beats Renegade, and then Call probably beats IHC. And then these are like the 3-0 games. So we have G2 Astralis, ENS Force, Vitality, Spirit, Outsiders Liquid. Yeah. So in terms of my pick'ems, of course, look, you'll hear this from anyone who you've seen make pick'ems. You want to have your like sure to advance. Like, who do you think is surely gonna advance in here, and then a bit of a riskier pick in the 3-0, and someone who you think is gonna do badly in here. No surprise there. So ENS. Oh, I have sound on. I'll quickly have volume to 0. Yeah, sorry. That probably could have my speakers on. Through that. Astralis makes it through. I think Vitality makes it through. I think these are the 4 teams where I'm very confident that they will advance. Anyone after that, it's gonna be a lot tighter. So there's teams like Force, MIBR, Outsiders, Liquid are like probably the favorites. I think Force might just not do that well. Outsiders, I think, is gonna advance, but I don't think they're. So I think it's like a 3-2 for Outsiders. I think Liquid's also probably advancing. And I'm kind of thinking of having Force as my 3-0 because I'm not sure if they're gonna advance, but they have very high seed, like the third highest seed out of all the teams. So that makes them a lot more likely to either 3-0 or not go through than a lot of the teams. So I think Force is gonna be my 3-0. And then I think I'm gonna go with BNE as my last pick to go through. Or should I go maybe Eternal Fire? It's very close in some of these teams. Could be MIBR, it could be Eternal Fire, could be Imperial Complexity. Like there's a lot of options here. This could definitely be like not good enough to get to the next stage. I'll still try, of course, but I think these four should make it, and then we just hope one of these teams advances alongside these, and then maybe Force goes 3-0. It's a risky pick, of course, but it has to be format. And then the 0-3, I think it's probably gonna be Renegades. Could be IHC. I think to me it's between these two. I think 9Z is gonna win at least one game. I think it's between Renegades and IHC for 0-3. I think it's gonna be Renegades though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with these for now. I can't really see what the problem. I mean, I know BNE is not like the most favorite pick. I don't know who else I would pick here. It could be, you could go Force as like at advancing, and maybe I should go Force as advancing because they have easy. They have such easy, such an easy route, and then go BNE 3-0 and just don't care about the 3-0 basically, because BNE is not gonna go 3-0. But I think all of these 7 teams should advance. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with this actually. It should be a bit more likely. Okay. Because if we, for example, now advance from here, these should be pretty close. I think Complexity probably beats it. I mean, Imperial probably actually beats this. This. Aiden went through. Force could still, yeah, I mean, this, of course, it's not gonna go quite like this, and then because it's not gonna go quite like this, the matchups are gonna be very different a lot of the time, but it's still fun to kind of look at this like this. Force would have Eternal Fire, and then probably Force goes through, Outsiders go through, Liquid go through, and then that would be pretty much pretty close. Okay. Basically, this is mostly also for the who I think is gonna go this again. Who do we want to pick in fantasy? So, for example, if G2 have good tiebreakers or good seeding, and they get the easy matchups, we should pick G2 in fantasy. Outsiders, close ones here, right? Go like this, for example, G2 get to play BNE, which is pretty easy. This is, for example, harder on ends. But also, like, Astralis is a worse pick, I think, than G2 by pretty good margin, because they almost always play Vitality as long as both of them win. So, I don't think you should go double Astralis, probably, which is, I think, what a lot of people are doing. But yeah, the teams I'll probably favor are G2 ends, and then after that, some Astralis. Like one player from Astralis, maybe one player from Vitality. But yeah, I'm gonna put my faith into ends and G2 here, even though G2 might always they're just not stable. But I think they have a really high likelihood to just stomp the opposition, to go like 3-0 and win all the games very easily. Whereas I think other teams are more likely to kind of win but get through in a way where they don't quite stomp. So yeah, that's my thoughts when if you want to hear about who I want to pick in fantasy. And then last, I wanted to check out some of the fantasy stuff from earlier. So what was this? Last Premier NA Showdown. Liquid lost round 1 and shut the bed for like everyone. So that's not good. Furia players doing okay, but they also lost to Pain Gaming. But look, this is what I was talking about in one of my videos, where if everyone picks Liquid and Liquid fail, it's not that bad for you, because a lot of people picked Liquid. You're still gonna get a decent ranking, like okay ranking. Breeze also lost like round 1, but he was just decent individually, so not the worst. And then Yuri and Art were decent, so not great, but not horrible either. If you want to look at the best lineup, someone actually did go with Pain. I think double Pain, yeah. Biguzera, Nathan, Art, Drop Penny was the best. Penny was really decent. I don't know about this camper role, but doesn't really matter if you're one of the only ones having all the correct players. You're just gonna kind of stomp. I think he had a pretty high, yeah, like a lot more points than second place, who also had a very similar lineup, but with Taco, I guess. EU, it's looking so good in terms of EU, but then Astralis just kind of stomped NIP, and then they also got higher ratings final, if you want to look at that. Like Astralis had higher ratings in the final against ENCE, even though they lost, because they went for like they won, completely stomped Mirage, and then the other 2 maps were close. So that's reflected here in the ratings. Playmath was a monster throughout the event, so he was kind of a must-have if you want to win. NIP was looking so good after the first round, and then they just lost to Astralis. I was correct to go Heroic over, I mean ENCE over Heroic. Finks was decent, Modern was decent, but yeah, in the end they didn't get that high points in final. But unfortunate, like Modern and Spinks both had pretty bad ratings, even though they won, because Mirage was such a bad performance for them. Best must be something like Astralis ENCE, I guess. Yeah, Astralis, actually Heroic more than ENCE, because the individuals didn't have like the best performance in the final, so that made it worse for them. But yeah, I had a decent lineup, I feel, for this. I just didn't quite go through. Guess I'll check out some of the April ones as well. What was this? PGL, yeah, Europe RMR, pretty okay. Res was really good. Hunter was decent-ish. After that first round loss, Jax just didn't do enough, I think, is the main point here. S-Attack was also really good for the rating. I think S-Attack Res was in the best lineup. No, S-Attack Plopsky actually, because Yabi was a monster. Oh yeah, and well, I actually had Axile in my Ego Up Fantasy because of like I had him there, but then I completely forgot to sub him in for the first round. So I lost a lot of points there, unfortunately. But I didn't have really a good chance at the Ego Up either in this event. Let's do this. The ARMR also decent. Like I have a lot of these good finishes, I guess. Now that I look at it, which I should be pretty happy with. Rain was very nice, alongside like Carrigan, very good for the price. Navi just didn't perform well enough, I guess, even though they did okay and qualified and everything, but yeah, the individuals I had just didn't do that well. Boomich apparently, like really nice. Oh yeah, Kiekert had a really good event. Of course, Big went 3-0 with Searson just out of nowhere. I don't know, they just destroyed the opposition, and then this is had a good event. Yeah, I remember that. I'll check the NA RMR as well. So this is like, look at the points I have here and compare that to Europe's like best points. This is the points I had in NA. This is the best points in Europe. Just goes to show how big the skill differential is between NA and Europe teams right now. Because I had like insane mode points on some of these players, but it's just not enough. Like a lot of people just picked these same players, and a lot of players just had insane ratings, but it's just not enough. I'm looking at this, for example. Yeah, look at the points on these players. Like, it's really insane with Drop. Yeah, Drop was really a must-have because he was like one of the highest rated players for Fury and obviously the cheapest one. Whereas I went like Caserado Art. Caserado was good, but not good enough for the price. Breezy was not that great either. He didn't do that well. Of course, that's gonna drop me quite a lot. And it wasn't that good in the NA. Which one? Last Premier Spring Showdown for NA either. I also had a one-off EG player in Breezy. Neither of them really paid off, even though he's playing like fine. I was just hoping that EG would do better, but I guess I shouldn't really put faith into EG. I just thought against this level of opposition that they're facing in these events would be enough, but yeah, okay, not quite. That was like the worst one out of these that I checked. But I think that's probably it for this video. Here's the pick'ems I made if you wanna check them out still. I don't know, I think it's pretty cookie cutter. Most of it's like no surprises. Maybe people think BNE is gonna do worse than I expect. I don't think they're gonna go 3-0 again. Like, I think they're gonna possibly advance, or and they have like an outside chance to go 3-0, but very low. I just really think these 7 teams are probably gonna advance. Maybe Force not, maybe Liquid not, maybe sometimes even Outsiders not. But I think I'm pretty confident in these. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll be making a video on both Ego App and HLTV Fantasies after this one. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.